Welcome to Buzzworthy Radio. Here's your host, NaVell J. Lee.
What's going on, everybody? Tribeca Festival is officially underway, and we had the chance to sit and speak with Teddy and George Kunhardt, who were the filmmakers behind the documentary Mario. It follows the life and history of Governor Mario Cuomo. Yes, that Cuomo. So you may know Andrew and Chris Cuomo, but what about the rest of the family? This documentary finally gets to give you an opportunity to see and hear from the rest of them that you may not know about. But also, it was very surprising to find out exactly how he really did feel about going into politics and where his heart actually lied. I had a wonderful conversation with both of these gentlemen, and hopefully you guys get something out of this too. So take a look. George and Teddy, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I really do appreciate it. And Mario premieres today at Tribeca Festival, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Right, tonight at 5 o'clock at SVA Theater.
Oh my goodness. We're running on crunch time, I feel like. But I really do appreciate that you're taking a few minutes out of your day before the premiere to talk to me about it. I watched it. It was very enlightening, especially with all the interviews that were done to talk about Mario. And I think a line really struck me, and I kind of want your opinion on it when you heard Chris Cuomo say it, is that in his mind, he didn't think that his father had ambition, but he was 100% competitive. And I just kind of sat there going like, okay. I mean, I understood sort of where he was coming from with that, especially when you're seeing how much he stood up for AIDS advocacy and abortion rights on the competitive streak. But as far as the ambition part, what did you think of that when you were listening to that and you heard it? What was your initial reaction to that? Because that kind of just struck me, not in a bad way. It was just interesting.
You want me to tell you? Yeah, you go for it. I did that interview with Chris, and I was sort of taken back too. And as we progressed, this is specifically now talking about running for president, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It became very apparent that through the research, he just didn't want it. He hated politicians. He hated politics.
That was in the documentary. It was talked about that he hated politics.
Yeah, he says it in his own words. And I really think at its core, he was a lawyer and he liked his life and he didn't want to give up having to do what's necessary to become president. You have to devote yourself to a campaign that puts the whole family through misery. And, I just don't think he had it in him.
I mean, look, in the film, he goes and gives the 84 keynote speech, and he doesn't stick around and hang out and take the accolades. He gets on a red eye, flies home, and he's tired. He wants to be home. He's a homebody. He loves New York. He likes he loves family. Family's number one. And I think that when you put in the spotlight of a presidential campaign and running, it takes that, it does that giant shift. And that's where we took from it, was that was one of the main reasons why he didn't run.
It makes sense too when you think about it, because he is an Italian immigrant, and Italians love family, and I don't think he really wanted to give that aspect up. So it makes sense when you're describing this, and also when people do get to see the documentary and hearing in his own words that he never really liked politics. That's why you just perfectly explained why he liked being home. But yeah.
But I'll add, what we didn't solve in the film, and it still is bothering us to this day, is he was offered the Supreme Court nomination.
I did see that, yeah.
And he declined it. He did not want it. And, we all try to please our parents in life. And his mother's wish was that one day he would become a judge. And here he's offered a role as the top judge in the United States, and he declines it. So I don't know what to make of it. Again, I think it goes back to family. He wanted to keep his family tight, and he didn't want to be in DC, and he Was in,
Especially as even his family speaks in here. I know I don't want to give too much away out of the whole thing, but it's just so interesting to note that even his family were sitting there in support of it, saying he would have made a really good Supreme Court judge. Like they all were saying it in the interviews, and the fact that they were even behind it and he didn't want it, that I'm right there with you. It sort of makes you sit there and go, what? So yeah, I definitely I understand exactly where you're coming from with that statement. So I completely agree. And this kind of we're already talking about it, but it did segue into my next question that I wanted to ask. What were, aside from this, surprises that you had found during the course of crafting this documentary?
Well, for me, I had no idea about his baseball career. I love that whole aspect of his life. He was a standout minor league player for the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. He gets hit in the head and never plays again. And that transition from being a pro athlete to go straight into the law, that shift, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know about that going into this film. So to me, that was one of the, as a big baseball fan, that was kind of an exciting moment for me.
I would just say generally, George and I are in our 40s, and we know of the Mario Cuomo Bridge, and that's about it. That was about it. And we were lucky to stumble upon his '84 convention speech through our production work on Obama, but we didn't know who he was. So the last 2 years, we've got to spend learning about Mario Cuomo and being inspired by him, and seeing that government done right can really help people.
Yeah, when you look at someone and do a character study the way that we've done with, at least we hope we did with Mario, was you see that he had such a moral guiding light and how he operated, how he governed, how he handled himself, how he talked to people, how he really cared about everyone and the little man, and he tried his best to do whatever it took to make sure that what his parents experienced as immigrants in this country and benefited from the FDR New Deal back in the 30s. He believed that government can help, and he was just a force for good. And I hope that the audience that resonates with the audience today, that his heart was in the right place, and we're missing that kind of leadership these days.
I have to agree, and if I may, I even want to say to emphasize, I didn't know anything about Mario Cuomo either. Obviously, I knew the last name because of Andrew and Chris
Sure.
themselves. So I was already invested because I wanted to find out more about Mario, because I have been a fan of those two for quite some time, and I just wanted to learn his history, and learning and watching just exactly how he was with people and how he did care about people, and seeing when he went to that hospital when Peter passed away
Vogel.
from AIDS. Passed away from AIDS, yes. And I didn't want to say his last name because I thought I was going to get it wrong. I was going to say
You
Peter
did.
Vogel, but I was like, I think that's it. That's what it was.
But the big message with that though was, at that point in time, people didn't realize that you couldn't catch AIDS through touching, and he
Correct.
didn't know that. He didn't know that, and he still went in and he hugged,
He still went in and hugged him.
and that was dangerous. I mean, at the time.
I wanted to actually take a quick step back. When you mentioned you're fans of Andrew and Chris, and you knew going into this their story, one of the things that I'm most excited about this film is we've given a spotlight to the three sisters as well, and
Yeah,
Matilda.
you did.
I love that it's not just the voices that you've heard in the past. It's new voices giving a whole range of a perspective of their father and of Mario. So that was a big breakthrough for us, having that access and ability.
And it kind of ties into how I wanted to bring up. I watched an interview with the both of you where you had specified that when you go in to do documentaries, I love the fact that you specified that you have a no asshole policy.
Love it.
That's Warren Buffett.
I am so proud of you for saying that, but I also like how you said about truth. You are going into this and doing these things where you know it could potentially take an extended period of time, but you want to get it right. And you're also doing this not for the sake of exploiting anything. You're not trying to get the gotcha moment. You're trying to convey the story. You're trying to convey the truth. And that's one of the things that I think when people see this, they're going to get from that. There's no exploitation anywhere in this. This is just actual people telling the story of of this man. And I love the fact that this is what you do in your films.
All the credit goes to our father and co-director, Peter Kunhardt. He's truth and trust are the two holy grails in what we do. We're not gotcha journalists. We're not out to get you. This is just telling a story that's important and people should learn from.
Thank you for recognizing and for saying that, because that is important to us. And what we've done is we've established a nonprofit called Life Stories, and so it's lifestories.org. And
Yes, I did
this
see that.
film will go there in the fall, along with all the interviews, all the educational material. So every single thing we're revealing the hood. You can see all the raw interviews, and it's all available to the public at no charge. So our hope is to create a platform, which we're building, and it's very successful and has a large viewership, to tell meaningful, thoughtful, well-produced stories and make them available to everyone.
But one more cool thing that we're doing at the foundation is we've partnered with another nonprofit called Adovo, which gets all of our content onto the tablets for incarcerated men and women, and we've been building curriculum. So all of our stuff is in front of I believe about 1 million incarcerated men and women.
Wow, that's incredible. Hopefully, I would love to dive into that a little bit more with both of you guys in the not too distant future. I would love to have you back. This was a great convo, and if any of you are in the New York City area tonight, please, if you have tickets, go see this for the world premiere. I'm going to be there throughout the entire week and weekend, so I'll make sure I'm going to see it again because I would like to see it with people and get their perspective. But please check this out. It was really wonderfully done, and thank you both for taking a few minutes out of your day to talk to me about this. This was great.
Been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Really,
And thanks
really
for doing your research on us. It's great.
Thanks for tuning in to The Buzz. Catch all episodes on Spotify. Remember to like and subscribe. Visit buzzworthyradiocast.com.